Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. Tonight I was able to sneak out to the range after work, and I've got two new hunting loads I want to try through the Ruger Ranch Gen 2 308. If you recall from my last video, I came out, hiked out to the range, kind of did some load testing with it, and I couldn't really find that I liked any of the loads that I tried. So I'm going to try two new ones. I've got the 165 grain Hornady Superformance, the 165 SST that I'm going to try, and then the 150 grain Saber Black Tip from AAC. I'm going to give that a shot too. And so it's about an hour, maybe 45 minutes before sundown. So I'm going to hurry up, get these rounds on paper, see what kind of groups they produce, and then later on after the sun goes down, I want to kind of play around with this 1 to 6 in low light conditions, take it up on the distance range, and see what I can do at say 300 or 400 yards in the dark or after the sun goes down at least. So should be interesting to see how that works. So let's go ahead and get started. So real quick, I'll just kind of explain what I got going on here on the range. I've got a pallet on the right side with a single target, and that's at about 55 yards. And then I've got another pallet at 100 yards with 3 targets on it. And so to start out with, I'm just going to shoot for groups on the 100-yard targets. And then if one of the rounds produces a good enough group, I'm going to go ahead and zero it at 55 yards on the ACSS BDC that's in this scope. So real quick, that's the Saber Black Tip. I believe from the research I was able to do that Hornady makes these bullets, and they are the SSTs. So should be a pretty good hunting round. Okay, so I just got done firing the AAC. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the Hornady SSTs, 165s, see what they do. Alright guys, just got done shooting the 165 grain SSTs. Let's go down range, see what groups we have. Now I have a pretty good idea because at 100 yards I can see the bullet impacts, the bullet holes on the paper, but we'll get a little closer. Okay guys, real quick. So this group here was some 150 grain M80 ball, 145 I guess, that I shot before filming just to kind of get warmed up. And then over here, this is the AAC Saber Black Tip. Other than, I do feel like that was a flyer. I was kind of still getting warmed up, but not bad, honestly. You know, we're probably under an inch there. That guy came out at, you know, $18 a box. I don't know, that's not too bad. And then over here is the Hornady 165 grain Superformance SSTs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And, you know, that's probably about a 2-inch group there, so a little bit better. But honestly, not much better than that one. And so I might play around with these AACs some more. You know, but at $18 a box, I got to wonder how consistent are they going to be too. You know, maybe this box shoots that good. But if I go and buy 10 boxes of it, what are the odds that each box is going to shoot the same? Where at $40 a box, I would expect the Hornady to be more consistent. It's two compelling results. $18 a box, $40 a box. You know, and I'm sure these rounds are capable of better accuracy. You know, if I wasn't shooting with a 6-power scope and maybe had a better shooting rest, maybe they would be a little smaller. But be curious to see if any of you guys have any experience with these loads and what you think of them. Okay guys, after thinking about it for a minute, I think I'm going to go ahead and zero with these 150 grain Sabers. because kind of looking at the groups, you know, the Hornady produced kind of a bigger group as far as having more distribution, where the Saber group was more just in a line. And so I feel like there's a potential there for more accuracy if I can dial in my shooting a little better. Because if you look at the vertical spread on the Sabers, it's very minimal, whereas the horizontal spread could be trigger control and breathing on my part. And so I think I'm actually going to try these Sabers out. So I'm going to go ahead and zero at 50 yards on those. Okay guys, this is 50 yards with the AAC 150 grain Saber black tip ammo. I think this stuff is going to shoot very well out of this rifle. My first 3 rounds were here. Before I started shooting at 50 yards, I went in and dialed about 12 clicks of windage to the left. Brought these 3 in. I could see through the scope they were a hair to the left. Added 2 clicks to the right and 2 clicks down on elevation, and these were my final 2 rounds. I think this is going to work just fine. Of course, my aiming point was here, so I think it's going to work out really well. So now let's go ahead and go up to the upper range. Okay guys, it's definitely getting on towards twilight. I mean, it's getting darker out. It's definitely getting harder to distinguish details at distance, especially if they're kind of that earth tone color. And so primarily what I wanted to do was come up here and kind of test the practicality of this primary arms 1:6 SLX with the Raptor ACSS reticle. And just in case you're wondering, Primary Arms did not sponsor me or send me this scope. I bought it with my own money. So if it sucks, I'll tell you, don't worry. But I've heard a lot of good things, and so far I really like it. You know, one of the things I really like about it is the reticle. It's a nice heavy, thick reticle, which in conditions like this right now, you know, if you're aiming in on a target, it's against that, you know, hillside and it's dimly lit, having a nice, thick, heavy reticle helps you to pick it up easy against that backdrop. A nice target style reticle is nice when you're trying to shoot really small holes or really tight groups on paper and you have a nice contrasting background. But when you don't have a contrasting background, that's where a heavier reticle comes into play. So real quick, the targets, you can see that white target there, that's at 200 yards. That one's pretty easy to see, but the other two that I'm kind of interested in is, there is a 300-yard target up in those trees, and then up here, up on the kind of where that orange rock is, there's a 400, and I don't remember exactly, it's right around 400, maybe 415, something like that. So I'm going to give it a little more time. You can see the moon's peeking out. It's definitely getting dark. So give it a few more minutes here and see what I can come up with. I'll probably, on the 200-yard target here, I'll probably shoot some of this M80 ball just to see what it does after I zeroed for this 150 grain Saber black tip. So I do have about a 5 to 10 mile an hour, pretty much a full value wind going from left to right. So it's a good thing that this ACSS has wind holds. Now the wind holds are a finer dot in the reticle, so I may have to turn on the illumination to see those, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay guys, target 1, 200 yards, white silhouette. So for this target, I'm going to hold dead center on the target, and I'm going to use the, I guess, upper apex of the inside of the chevron. Okay, nothing too surprising there. Okay guys, the next target is a camouflaged 2/3 IPSC silhouette at 300 yards roughly. Might be a little hair over. For this, I'm going to hold the center of the target again. And I know from running the ballistics on this, I think the first, I haven't ran the ballistics on this one actually. So I'm going to go ahead and hold center, and I'm going to use the first hash mark, the one that's meant for 300 yards from the factory. Okay, that one was a miss. Now, that's not because I can't see the target. The glass is doing very well right now. I can see the target easy enough. I do have the scope on 6 power. There we go. Let's go ahead and send another for fun. Science and shit. Okay, I think we went ahead and confirmed that one. Okay guys, went ahead and changed the camera angle. That would be more interesting for you guys. The next target is at 400 yards on that orange hillside. And I'm going to go ahead and use the 400 yard BDC mark. I can ID the target still though. The sun's been down for a while, and I can still identify the lighter portions of the target as well as the outline of the rifle on the target. I am going to hold just on the left edge of the target though because of the wind. Okay, that was a miss. I'm going to use my binos. It's getting dark enough. I want to actually use the binos to confirm that what I'm seeing is what I think I'm seeing. Okay, yep, I'm looking at the right spot. I mean, it's almost full dark. I mean, we're getting well past, we're probably past legal hunting light right now. See if I can at least get a hit on this 400 yard target though. I can still identify the target. It's not that I can't see it yet. So I think the light gathering ability of the 1 to 6 is just fine for realistic, practical shooting. Now, of course, a little more magnification would be nice right now, but that's going to cut down your exit pupil size and make it harder to see the target too. Yep, so that's, I don't want to sit out here and waste ammo, but I'd like to get a hit too. I'm having a hard time now identifying the target against the backdrop of the rest of the rocks and stuff up there. I know it's one of the darker spots, but I'm having a hard time telling which one now. So I think probably losing the clarity now. I can still see the target at 300 yards, so maybe I'll put one on him. Okay guys, so I tried, it's not that I couldn't see it at 400 at first, but now it's getting dark enough. I mean, it's almost full dark now. And I was having a hard time differentiating which dark spot was the target compared to the other dark spots up on that hillside. but I can still identify the 300-yard target, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. See if I can put some more rounds on him now that's darker. Okay, there's one. Now I'm not going to lie, the target's getting very hard to identify. And I'm probably at the limitations of what the scope will do, which really there's hardly any light anyways. And that was my last round. So, hey guys, real quick to summarize, came out, finally found what I consider to be an acceptable hunting load through this Ruger Ranch Gen 2 308. It seems to really prefer the AAC Saber black tip 150 grain bullets, so that's what I'm going to hunt with this year. You know, the 165 grain Superformance by Hornady, it shot pretty good too, but over double the cost. I think I'm going to try these $18 a box rounds. You know, I can come out here and practice with those, and really doesn't affect the bank account as much. And so the other thing I wanted to test was the kind of low light capabilities of this 1-6 primary arms SLX. And I mean, it's full black. If you were out here hiking around or walking around, you'd be wearing a headlamp. There's a highway in the distance. Everybody's driving with their headlights on. It is dark, by, you know, for all intents and purposes. It's late, you know, it's almost the end of twilight and straight into nighttime. So I'm pretty happy that this optic, you know, for those of you that aren't familiar with hunting, at least where I live, you get a half hour after the sun goes down, and we're well past that. We're probably a full hour after the sun's gone down, and it's still picking up enough details that I could just engage out at 300 yards. Now granted, that was getting pretty hard to identify, and so, you know, but once you run out of light, you can't see with any scope unless it's, of course, night vision. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and you know, I just want to thank everybody that's subscribed and that's checked out the store. I've got some good Fieldcraft gear over there, and I've got some other products coming out soon, so make sure you check it out. And thanks for watching. Have a good night.